This is Renata, continuing the screencasting of the HSCTI.net manual. I'm creating this for the Life Manifestation School community, but I'm going to put it up on YouTube and share it there as well. So this is from www.hscti.net/manual. It's my dad, Karl Welz, going over. In this case, we're going to start on the success strategies. So we're going to go through all of these success strategies: introduction, pitfalls, blocking success, lack of availability, misjudging the situation, misjudging capabilities. I'm working on getting this whole section done, hopefully today, and because I go on vacation starting Tuesday. So I'm going to start with this one, which is success strategies, introduction.
Now, to achieve the success that you desire, I've mentioned that before, what's decisive for success and for achieving the results that you envision of any action at a distance in general, and what we call radionics operations, manifestation operations in particular, is number one, sufficient life energy to energize the operation, given here, a precise structural link to the target, here it's a business card, a precise structural link to the trend energy, partly what I have written on the business card, and the settings of the dials, which, because I was thinking of setting the dials to represent this desired effect, those dials are precise structural links. They solidify my abstraction of the desired wish. What's also important is, when doing things like this, that you have to consider other factors, such as whether a project itself is doable. I could go into that more into detail a bit later and bring some pretty ridiculous examples there. The availability of that success that you desire, and potential interferences from the environment and from within yourself, if you are the target, or from within the person whom you want to help. I said more about this in that big section about success strategies. Therefore, it's very important that you analyze very well the situation before embarking on more complicated operations. Start with the target of the operation first, you or the person for whom you are setting it up. And then get a very clear idea of what you intend to achieve. Be aware of potential consequences of the trend energies when they are activated, and the resulting situation once the goal is achieved. Remember the story of the wizard's apprentice, where the broom is transformed into a water carrier, and it couldn't be controlled anymore. So you have to be careful with what you want. This means no more and no less that when working with high power equipment, you need to be aware of the potential consequences of your action. Before you intend to get a specific person inclined, for instance, to be your lover, make a little background check. It could well be that your subconscious actually protected you from such a relationship, and you didn't get it for a good reason. An old saying is, when doing the magic, you likely get what you want. Well, and this explains very well what I mentioned before with the wizard's apprentice. You may just end up as an abused partner, abused wife, lover, or a henpecked husband. Then you have to do the next operation to straighten out that situation, if still possible. And on and on and on it goes. So analyze it before you do anything. And the next to do is go to literally applied trend management. Let's assume that you want to heighten your professional chances, perhaps a promotion, better working conditions, or simply more pay. Now, how can you set up a manifestation operation to achieve these goals? Number one, analyze the situation. Carefully weigh the pros and cons. Number two, write down, always helps, in precise terms what you intend to achieve. For instance, persuasion skills on the workplace combined with recognition of your merits, of what you're good for. Be sure, again, that it is doable. Wanting significantly more pay, but lacking any incentive to change bad working habits into delivering high quality work in return is unlikely to bring the expected results, unless you are putting a love trend on the bar simultaneously. Next, select the appropriate symbols in the manifestation program if you use it, or write down what you want, as we have done here, and add your specific wishes and modifications into it. As I said, like here, you put the business card with your written specifications onto the well, as this is called the well of the device, or next to the device. Doesn't matter where it is as long as it's close to the life energy. And there are two methods that have been used for long times. Number one, you can keep the operation going until you are successful. Not needed is the powerful life energy that comes here. And number two, just run it for a relatively short time, an hour maybe or two, and then turn the device off and wait for the results to show. Repeat this action every other day, about an hour each time, till the result is achieved. If nothing happens within 3 days, change the success strategy. Now, the next question, of course, how long will it take to be successful? And by now, you know what the basis for your success is. Sufficient life force from the device, precise structural links to trend and target, and also a strong mental connection to your device and to your intent while you are setting it up. That way, you make your abstractions, your wishes, permanent. And this means that your attitude towards the operations that you are performing is crucial for your success, especially during the setup. Doubts concerning the success of your operation and lack of trust in your capabilities can be detrimental to the success of your work. If you have some problems like this, set up the device that you are more confident, that doubts like this disappear, and then perform the operation, in which case you can certainly increase the chances of success significantly. You can also counteract such doubts with autogenic training, positive thinking, and affirmations. Again, support them with the chi generator and also with the manifestation programs if you have them. Normally, as I said, you can expect the results within a period of time which goes hand in hand with the situation that you intend to change. Some things take more time than others.
If you don't have a manifestation program, you can get one for $99 on Standout Store/Life Manifestations. We're going to come out of here. Not going to start that over again.
No.
So the next one is the pitfalls blocking success. Click over here. Watch it.
And now we are here at last, and I'm going to talk more about applied success strategies, how to set them up, and how to set up effective trend management. This is for persons who already went through the initial steps with the devices. At first, the pitfalls. When you're beginning to use the combination of G generators and manifestation programs, naturally, like most people, you likely are extremely successful with it. This is so because it works for most things that you may have envisioned originally without prior training. And it will work most of the time. Very often the reason for such striking initial success is that the work with G generators and the manifestation program provides this extra little push that was needed in situations which have already been evolving into a positive direction and which were ready to manifest, and where a minor adjustment only was still necessary to succeed. Sometimes, however, you will be confronted with very complex situations or with instances where the best of efforts seem to fail. This usually happens later, and only a few, very few owners of the devices have experienced this challenge right at the beginning. The main reasons for failure are, and you may have read that and heard it time and again, I repeat it: misjudgment of availability. Number 2, misjudgment of the situation itself. Number 3, misjudgment of the personal capability. Then misjudgment of your personal attitude, which means also sometimes unawareness of personal interferences, idealism that contradicts what you actually plan to do. Number 5, misjudgment of subconscious blocks and subconscious interferences, very related to what I said previously. Then the misjudgment of unawareness of interferences from the environment, people environment, wishes of people around you, and other outside interferences that can happen in quite a few situations. And then a misjudgment of what I call the climatic background of trends. For instance, cultural environment at the time of the operation. And at first, I'm going to deal with these various reasons for delays or even failures in general. And then I'm going to give you a good idea of how to develop a success strategy from a thorough analysis of the challenges that you may face. And later I'm going to continue by working on specific areas where failure can occur and replace the various mishaps with the appropriate success strategies. And I'm going to show a few examples. Based on this experience, you will then be able it will be much easier for you to develop the most effective methods to achieve success. And finally, I'm showing in general terms those ideas in a setup of a wheel of success, where you can find the steps that you need to take when going for supreme success in any field at a glimpse. And let's now go to pitfalls in more details and examples, one after the other. Pitfalls that you run into, especially when dealing with complex challenges.
Okay. Go to lack of availability.
about misjudgment of availability of what you want to achieve. A couple of examples. Number one, pretty common, attempt to get the one and only one big win in a lottery. For instance, if there is only one grand prize in a lottery, only one person will get it, no matter how many people are using equipment to get that big one. Well known, of course, are the massive interferences when somebody attempts to beat incredible odds to get some of those famous jackpots. Even if you can use the equipment to top your odds threefold, tenfold, even more, you would need to wait a statistical average of, say, 100,000 drawings instead of 1 million drawings if it's a tenfold odds to get that big one. So it can work, provided to give it enough time and a substantial investment of money. Of course, statistical averages are statistical averages, and you may hit it as well tomorrow with a single ticket. Very unlikely, even with the best. Some of the ancient gods to whom wannabe winners pray must be quite annoyed, considering that 1 million or so prayers to them for the big one are all doomed to fail, with the exception of one and only one, provided, of course, that a person who prayed gets a big one and not one who has a chi generator or manifestation program or uses any other method, or none at all. Second example, attempts to get a specific, very specific, famous person as a lover. I have run into that quite a bit when I did advice readings and when I helped people out. This situation is quite similar to the one as above, the availability of the big win, which I have talked about before, especially if the would-be lover has nothing to offer in return, as is usually the case, and is one of the many others who bug those folks with that annoying fan mail which their secretary rightfully ditch. Next thing, attempts to strike it rich in a business venture that promises wealth to its marks and which has been established and structured mainly to bring wealth to the corporation only, which sells those opportunities. Related are Ponzi schemes. Typically, most of the multi-level marketing situations fall into this category, not all of them.
That one. Back down here, we're on misjudging the situation.
Next is the misjudgment of a situation as such. Typically, for instance, attempts to draw a partner who loves city life and wanting that he or she exchanges that for some primitive conditions in the country with nothing in return. That, in most cases, if it works initially, it blows later. Or a typical other one is attempts to draw a specific partner for sex only if that person has extreme reservations against such type of a relationship. Reservations which quite often are rooted in education and or religion, which cannot be underestimated. We should respect people for what they are, not what we want them to be.
And we'll go to misjudging capabilities. And then we're going to stop this video after this.
The next misjudgment relates to personal capability. Again, I bring examples. Attempts to get money fast when there's absolutely no skill to back up such a wish. Sometimes people may get it from an unexpected source. Somebody they love dies and they get the inheritance and so. Not exactly what we want. Other example. Attempts to be immediately successful in a profession of which the operator has little or no experience at all, relates to some way to what I said before. If you want, for instance, to be successful as an MD, as a doctor, you need to have learned the skill and received your licenses previously. Or, hopefully you are not one of those cons, be skilled enough in faking it. Standing in front of a mirror, visualizing your goals won't cut it, unless it's backed by skills that have to be learned. In fact, this includes also the skills to make and hold money. Ever heard of the person who, after a weekend of a motivational seminar, for which he or she paid some $600 to $1,000, stood in front of a mirror for weeks repeating medicine, 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 hoping to be an MD soon? Well, they think that visualizing that you have, visualizing yourself driving that famous red sports car and having 4 or 5 sex partners in the car with oneself who are just waiting for that nice evening, is similar. And visualizing a checkbook that you write big checks in and so on. I heard that time and again. You heard it time and again. It takes skills. So if you want to go there, set up the equipment to get the skills first.
Good advice.
Next example, attempts to draw a partner for sex when the operator him or herself is incapable to such activity for whatever reason. Next example, attempts to get a top-of-the-line lover when looking like a dog. Oops. I hope the National Association of Dogs does not sue me for slander now. If the person is lacking personal hygiene, lacking manners, and lacking other items that such a partner would like to see. Next are attempts to make a big showing in music without the skills to play an instrument, or without sufficient skills to play an instrument. Without charisma, and, of course, most importantly, without the capability of dealing with producers once the window of opportunity is open. In my past career as a consultant, I ran into practically all of those situations, and then a few more.
Okay. We're going to stop there, and I'll do a video next of these 5. And then these 2 might be in one together if they fit. So, going to stop here. Thank you.